Hello, everyone. This is Barrel Banter coming to you live right now. We have to restart that.
Keep
not-
it going, man. Federal
This
banter,
isn't
banter,
live.
banter.
Nobody's listening to this live.
Okay. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Barrel Banter.
Banter,
This is Will,
This is Jared.
and
This is Peyton. You flipped that on us, dude. What the heck?
I told you I was going to wing it. So
Guys, we hired a professional for this introduction on this podcast today.
Oh,
Yeah, welcome back, Will.
Welcome
Thank you.
back. What a great re-entry into the show.
Sorry, boys. Yeah, I missed last week, and a little out of practice here. But before we jump into some fun topics today, I would love to know what you boys are drinking in y'all's Glencairn. It looks like a regular glass over there too. So what y'all got going on?
Over here in the good old Ireland, I got me some classic Bullet bourbon, which y'all might
There we go.
look down on, but for me, this makes me happy because I haven't had just like
Nothing wrong with that.
a good bourbon in a minute here. So pick
Love-
this bad boy up. We're going Bullet.
Did they have a lot, or was it hard to find?
They have it decent. It's more expensive here. Like when you're used to what it costs in the States, it's always a little bit of a gut punch. But I thought it was worth it.
Love that.
Heck yeah. Well, I'm drinking some Blanton's Gold. I'm almost done with it, so I'm gonna
All right,
clean
level
off
up.
that golden pony. Yeah, clean off that gold pony and save it in a drawer somewhere.
Calling
Let's
for
go.
some nice stuff.
Rifling through it. Love it.
Yeah.
Well, so I am drinking a bottle that my sister actually gifted me. It's called Brothers Bond.
Ooh.
It's 80 proof, and it's from actually Indiana. It's kind of tasty. It's one of the few bourbons that I've had outside of Kentucky that is pretty good. So
Kentucky.
Is
yeah,
the distillery itself say it's Indiana, or is it just from that place that makes
Well-
all the bourbon for all the people in Indiana?
I'm pretty sure it's that. It says Brothers Bond Distilling Company, Fort Smith, Arkansas, actually, and then distilled in it.
There you go.
So
They get their juice from that place that everybody does.
yeah, so but it's pretty good. So it's smooth, it's low proof, so that helps. But anyway, so gentlemen, we are going to be jumping into some fun topics. So Jared, why don't you kick us off with what you brought for today?
All right. Thank you, Will. So I couldn't decide on one big topic that I wanted to bring to the table this week. So I have some interesting tidbits that's a bit of a continuation of our last podcast, and then another update in the world of Irish Rugby. So I'll hold the Irish Rugby for now, and I'm going to bring up an update back to the MLB uniforms.
Oh, yes.
Yes, I'll talk about this too.
Will, you weren't here for that. Peyton, I hope you've updated yourself, but it's seeming to get worse, which is just incredible. And by worse, I mean that the pants are see-through. And for the Irish folks, that means the trousers. The trousers are see-through.
And they're white, so.
Is hilarious. The uniforms, man, they're just getting so much more just flack. The press is all in about them. The players are upset about them. There's just been a lot of banter going on about how these uniforms are not it. They look bad. Again, with the names and the lettering. Like, I looked at one, it was Justin Verlander, pitcher for the Astros, right? His classic MLB jersey, his name fits real nice above the letters. And on the new one, it's a half moon. Like, it's a dome. Because the way the spacing is, it just looks so awkward. But really, really, like I said earlier, the biggest thing is that their bottoms, their trousers, are straight see-through. In the photo shoots, you can see the tucked-in shirt inside the pants. And let's just say, in a couple photos that some players have taken so far, not family-friendly. So it's been quite interesting. Well, what have you seen on it?
I'm looking them up right now, and just to refresh my memory, because I saw them when they initially launched, and I was a little worried about them. But I mean, it is like terrible. I mean, it looks like you went in, and I think Peyton, you mentioned this. Like you walk into a grocery store, and they've got their, it just looks like that extra thin, literal no quality to it.
Hmm.
So shocked that got approved. I don't know how that made it
Hmm.
through. There's no,
And
but I don't
one
know.
of the interesting things I think I saw is that the MLB came out and claimed that the pants haven't changed.
Yeah, no way,
But
no
it's
way.
no, they're
Prove it.
very different. So there's been some shade all around from different places on the jerseys being bad. And one of my favorite ones I saw recently was, if y'all remember, the Montreal Expos, an old team that's not around anymore. To be honest, off the top of my head, I can't remember which team they became, but I think the
Nationals,
Nationals. Yeah, the Nationals. Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Washington Nationals.
You're right,
Yep.
the Nationals. They tweeted a picture of one of their classic uniforms and was just like, "Ah, such a good uniform," and it was just like out of nowhere.
That's awesome.
So that's good stuff. I'm really curious. Do y'all think anything's gonna change, or it's just gonna be like this, and the players are gonna have to get over it?
Well, it depends on the contract, I would think, between um it's Nike, right? Yeah, between
Hmm.
Nike and the MLB. And, maybe there's stuff in the contract to where they can't change it midway through the year, because if MLB is not going to compensate them for it, then,
Hmm.
they might not be willing to eat all that cash. But, an interesting, thought I had was, this is super in the weeds, but these guys are going to be sweating cats and dogs in the middle of July. And could you imagine, like, the fancying everything? I would wear, like, goofy pants, like chili peppers on my, like, underwear or something like that. Just to give an extra show, because everybody's going to see
Yeah,
it anyways. I mean, this is
yeah.
this is crazy.
Well, actually,
Yeah,
you saying that, Peyton, kind of reminded me. They actually are having another issue beyond the look and the material and the see-through aspect of them. They don't have enough. The teams have been saying they don't have enough trousers, pants, whatever, to go around for all the players.
Right.
And some players have been supplementing their old pairs in lieu of wearing these and wearing them instead. So it's actually going to be really interesting if that becomes more of an issue where they end up showing up with old pants.
I would be interested to see. And it's funny because if y'all remember the Majestic brand jerseys,
Yeah.
I feel like those things were like jackets. They were so thick, so
Yeah.
they're slowly getting just so thin. But now it's like, pump the brakes. You're showing too much. But I wonder also if it'll end up being kind of going back to like if anything will change. It's kind of one of those scenarios where like I feel like some companies they'll just like sometimes it comes off really different and they'll just like really lean into it and then
Hmm.
force you to end up liking it. And I wonder if the MLB will kind of just end up doing that anyway, just because maybe like you said the contract. So I don't know. We'll see what happens, but I do foresee some mishaps coming from that. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Well, let's also give them, like, the Nike the benefit of the doubt. Maybe they didn't, like,
Mm,
have people wear them and take them outside in the sun or get them sweaty or something. But, maybe it's one of those things where, you see something in the store and you think that look great on you, and then you try it on, you're like, no, this is terrible. So maybe it's a little bit of that. I don't know.
we'll see how it plays out. So that's that. The
yeah.
Jersey saga continues in the MLB. But real quick, just to give you all my Irish rugby update, there was no update last week because Six Nations was taking a break. But we're back at it again this past weekend. So just yesterday, Ireland versus Wales in Dublin. And Ireland did what they did, went through and kicked butt
Nice.
again. So final
Let's
score
go.
was 31-7. Ireland played a brilliant first half, and yeah, really was just showing dominance. But some cool stuff about this in this game specifically is that in Six Nations, this was the first ever time a Six Nations tournament has been reffed by an Italian. And so the significance of that is that Italy's been in the Six Nations tournament since 2000, so 24 years, and they haven't had one yet. So it was a big deal. It was good. I enjoyed watching the game. I actually watched it at home for the first time. I've been watching all the other ones at pubs. I know, a terrible life over here, but I watched it at home. And one of the cool things about rugby and how they play over here is the ref is mic'd up the whole time. So conversations he has with players, with other refs, about plays, any like decisions they're making, you hear everything. So I really appreciate that. and it helps me understand and helps that like me kind of see what's going on and how decisions are made and such. And I really think that needs to be more of a widespread thing in sports.
For sure.
So that's the update. Ireland is so far 3-0 in the tournament, and we're looking like we're on track for another Grand Slam.
How many more games do we have left?
Yeah.
So everybody plays everybody, and that would be 2 more. So there's 6 teams, 5 matches.
5 total. Okay,
Yeah,
gotcha.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So
Wow.
we're playing England and Scotland left. I hope that's correct.
That's interesting. Well, so they got 2 games left. So how does it work? Like, is it just best record after it, or is it there like they have like a semifinal and all that stuff? Okay.
So think about it like football, soccer. The point
Mhm.
system and winning, 3 points for a win, 1 point for a tie, which I don't think happens. I actually don't know if there's a point for a tie, but you do get points for a win, and then they have a bonus point system. So if you get more than 4 tries against a team, you get a bonus point. So like we beat we beat Wales and scored more than 4 tries, so we get a bonus point, and that kind of helps also settle out. So it's a point system at the end. But that's me. That's my topics. Peyton, what do you have for us this week?
I got a couple quick things. We got the NFL scouting combine this week, starting on Monday, going through the whole week. So we're gonna see who's gonna be the quote unquote big risers, big fallers, um, and all the rumors, all the GMs and owners spread. Trying to get their spot on trades and drafting the players they want. The quick note I will say on the scouting combine is I'm getting really tired of some of these players sitting out and not wanting to either do all the drills or doing completely, zero drills.
Right.
I understand if you're hurt or like you're just now getting healthy, but the guys that aren't, it's like, why are you worried about being exposed? Like, as soon as you get drafted, you're going to get exposed anyway. So, yeah, cool, you got a higher contract because you didn't get exposed at the combine, but what about your second contract? And you definitely won't get a third. So you might as well
Mm-hmm.
just show up and compete. And if you get exposed, you get exposed. But it's about, in my opinion, it's about the second and third contract, not your first contract. I mean, it's guaranteed anyways. But so
Right.
that's the first thing I was going to bring up.
That's a good point, Peyton. The sitting out process, like it's crazy because like these players, they're just wanting to only like they're being so selective on what they want to appear in and all these things, and like you could argue like yes, there's more games and more being asked of athletes nowadays, but I mean, come on, this is a combine. Like it's
Yeah,
pretty simple. You show up, show what you can do, and then you're gonna get like it does help your stock, and it can diminish your stock, but it's not like you have to be really really bad to really
yeah.
diminish your stock. So like ultimately, it's only in the benefit to go. So I don't know. It's just interesting that that's happening.
Yeah, it is pretty curious. I think Peyton, your commentary on like we need to be these players should be looking for their second and third contracts and trying to figure out careers. I'm curious if it has anything to do with the fact that these guys are getting paid a lot of money to play college football now, and they're really
Mm,
just hunting for the bag. And they've had 4 years, 2 years, 3 years, whatever it is in college, just trying to figure out the best way to get money now. And they're kind of just looking at cashing out in the here and now, and that's a problem for future them. But it's definitely interesting
mhm.
to see that. Like, I think players have had a lot more freedoms and sitting out bowl games, sitting out senior bowls, sitting out these drills and things with all these
Yeah.
fears of getting hurt or messing up or ruining their draft stock. But at the end of the day, like you're gonna have to suit up eventually and play the game. You can't just sit on the sidelines and expect to be a star and get paid.
Preach, brother.
That's so true. And it's also, I mean, that's just kind of goes on the whole topic of just like I said, athletes are being asked to perform a lot all the time, all year, 365. But you aren't a professional yet. You're in college. You don't get to. I don't know. In my opinion, you shouldn't be able to do that. You shouldn't. But I guess with the combine being invite only, I guess there does some exclusivity to it. So I guess
Yeah.
the
But I mean, if you're invited and then you don't participate, why don't we get somebody in here that's going to go undrafted and work their butt off and see if they can get drafted? So
that's
Hundred
I don't know.
true.
percent.
Weird.
I would hope that also like if you don't go, like I would hope that all the coaches like that your stock has gone down automatically just because you seem like you're not wanting to, I guess, compete against all the other players that are in the same bracket as you. So I
Hmm.
don't know, but yeah, that's interesting. Very interesting.
Secondly, we have March Madness coming up here soon.
Yes,
Let's
sir.
go.
We have the conference championship week, which is our little appetizer hors d'oeuvres, so to speak, for March Madness. That's coming up starting March 12th. So we're a little over 2 weeks away.
Get your
So
bracket.
this is when boys become men and champions are born.
Y'all got any early favorites for the March Madness, or are we how are we feeling about that?
Dude, it looks wide open this year.
I agree. I agree. Nobody has really stayed in the top. The top five has changed so much this year. I think it's going to be anybody's game this year, which is I think makes it way more
Yeah,
exciting,
we want that.
way harder to predict.
I've had a hard enough time trying to stay on the roller coaster this season that is Texas A&M men's basketball. It has been the
Oh
most
yeah.
up and down season. The way I understand it is that the whatever all the teams, college teams, are ranked in these quartiles on their performance, and no team other than like the top three has more quarter one wins than A&M. So like wins against the top best teams, but also A&M simultaneously has the most quarter three losses. So they're losing to bad teams and beating good teams, and that's just been frustrating as heck. And of course, we
Yeah.
played the number 5 Tennessee Volunteers today and got walloped 86-51. So who knows?
Yeah.
Outside looking in, I'd
Yeah.
gotta say.
Yeah, well, you really need a good SEC conference
Mm-hmm.
championship run. I mean, and it's crazy to see like some of the teams that are outside on the bubble, and then they get hot in the conference tournament, and then
Mm-hmm.
they somehow make it. So I mean, the conference championship is almost just as exciting as March Madness, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I agree.
There's always still hope in that conference championship, so we'll see.
Hmm.
Peyton, did you see Oklahoma with their buzzer beater on OK State?
Yeah, man. Yeah, that was awesome. That team's kind of been annoying me because they've been on a slide. They started the year off really hot, and then they've kind of been on a slide. So I'm hoping they can kind of get their act together in the conference championship because right now they're kind of a bubble team and can easily not make the field when they were in the. I think they got as high as top 10 ranking in like the first couple months of the year, so they've really had a nosedive.
Yeah, no, I'll be honest. I haven't really followed Oklahoma, but I did see the buzzer beater, and I thought that was pretty
Yeah,
sick.
pretty sick.
But that's good to know. It helps me also for as far as judging the bracket. So now the storming of the court at the Duke Wake Forest game.
Wild.
Yeah,
Yes, let's.
that I it brings so many emotions to me because I feel like storming the court is like or in the field or whatever it is, like I feel like it's such a huge it's awesome when it's your team, like it really is, it's super cool,
Yeah.
but man is it dangerous, and I
Hmm.
needs to be some review on how to let that happen. I don't know, what are your thoughts?
Yeah. Well, for some backdrop, it
Mhm.
was the blue Duke Blue Devils playing Wake Forest Demon Deacons or something like
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. Anyway, so Duke at the time was ranked eighth in the country, so really good squad. Playing an unranked Wake Forest team, and Wake Forest pulled the upset. And as per tradition in college basketball for sure, and then sometimes college football, the underdogs, if they pull the upset, all the fans and students rush onto the field or court in this case, and it's super dangerous, and you just see like fans just swarming people. I don't know how no one has been injured beforehand
Mm.
because I feel like every time something gets stormed, like I don't know how these players don't get injured. Even like the home players when it's their home
Mm-hmm.
fans rushing, like it looks just like a mad mob, and
Right.
it's crazy. But yeah, I think it was Duke's star player. I think his name's Kyle. All right, let's give a crack at this.
Filipowski.
Kyle Filipowski. There we go. Yeah, so their star player, you can see the video. They just rush him, the students, and he ends up like twisting an ankle, and then like all of his players come around and trying to escort him off, and they're throwing explicit bombs, verbal bombs towards the kids, and yeah, it's just a chaotic scene. And then he actually came out. The kid that got injured came out and said that it was intentional. Like he could tell those kids like were running at him with like harmful intent, which is even crazier if true.
Yeah, these court stormings in basketball have, in the span of about a month, twice proven to be dangerous. Just a month ago, it was Iowa women's basketball, which their star is Caitlin Clark, very good
Yeah.
basketball player. She's one of the future stars of women's basketball. Has a little bit of swagger and cockiness to her, and some people don't like her, but they were upset by Ohio State. Same story. Ohio State storms the court. And there's just, in basketball, there's not enough time for the players to get off. We're talking buzzer beaters erupting
Yeah.
into immediate flooding of the courts. There's not enough time for these players to get off. And Caitlin Clark got bodied by somebody. Now, some might say that her collision was a bit of a flop. Some might say other things about it. But in this one here, I mean, this Duke basketball player, you can watch the video, he's just walking, trying to just be out of the way. And it's like a sidestep, and he gets his knee hit in by a Wake Forest student sprinting. I truly wonder, I mean, with basketball, like I said, they're just much more dangerous, I think, than in football. Because in football, I mean, this players are in pads and they're off the field most of the time before something bad can happen. But
Yeah.
the other thing is like there's cameras everywhere on all this stuff. Like at what point is there going to be a repercussion for the individual students that are causing harm, so to speak, even if it may be accidental?
Hmm.
It's going to be interesting to see what can come of like this one specifically.
Yeah. Now here's a question: Do y'all think you don't think they'll ever remove storming of the court? Do we AKA providing a barrier or a person? Right. I don't foresee
Might be
that.
more organized.
Yeah. Which then just kind of away from the whole effect. But
It would
yeah.
have to be a physical
Yeah.
barrier. That's the only way. But even then, I mean, you see it in football stadiums. There's a physical barrier between the
Hmm.
stands and the field, but people just jump it. But even then, like
Yeah.
the Southeastern Conference bans the storming of football fields, which I would presume they also ban the storming of any court. And the
Mm,
schools get fined a lot of money when their
Yeah.
team storms,
Millions.
and it increases each time it happens. There's financial barriers, there's physical barriers, but I mean, you talk about 10,000 people sprinting and amassing to the center court as fast as possible. That's hard to stop.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's
No matter how many security guys you have,
yeah.
and the weird thing too, like to think about is like that's one of the things that makes going to a basketball game so unique and special is that if you're sitting at the front, you are like on the floor. You are right
They
next to them.
cut players as they're walking.
Yeah. So like, if you do put up physical barriers like this, that's going to take away from, the environment and being there, I would think. So it's just a weird thing for them to have to navigate, but something's got to be done. Like this can't keep happening, like people getting injured and just complete chaos.
Yeah, yeah. Definitely a bit dangerous, and it needs to be addressed. I don't know what the solution is, but there needs to be something. So
Hmm.
I agree.
Yeah.
That's above
Glad.
our pay grade, boys.
Yeah. Glad you brought that up, Will, because it's a good one to chat about. Do you have your topic? Anything else you want to add on, Will?
I did just briefly. I don't know if you boys have seen Mr. Tiger Woods and his new golf apparel brand. And I kind of honestly think it's kind of funny, but because I also loved the good old TW from Nike partnership that I think is iconic. But I just wanted to talk about I would say, apparel name for the polo, and it is called Sun Day Red, not Sunday Red, Sunday Red.
Break it up.
Let me tell you. One, can you copyright a day of the week? Or is that what happened there, or what happened? But
I
also,
think so.
who approved Sunday Red?
No, I would love to know because to be honest, like it's weird, but how iconic is that? Like Tiger Woods owns Sunday red as a concept, right? Him wearing his red
Mhm.
polo on Sundays. Everybody knows what it means, right? And
Right.
the fact that he came out with the brand, I was like, it's brilliant. Like absolutely I love that name, but why it's in 3 words, not a clue.
Yeah, I just find it interesting. I think it's fun. I'm gonna buy myself a shirt. Don't get me wrong, but I just think
There
it's
you go.
hilarious.
Do they have
And
actual polos with collars? Do you know?
I have
I'm
not.
pretty sure.
That was one of
I've
my
only.
gripes with Tiger
Oh,
Woods' Nike collection. He didn't have
I'm gonna
collars.
look it up right now.
And I wanted one for work, but it didn't seem it was just like a Nike athletic shirt, but I needed a collar. And that made me sad.
yeah, I would hope so. Because I'm the same way. I don't like the little weird half mock neck thing going on. But here's an interesting tidbit about the brand and the logo itself. Did y'all know the stripes? Each stripe represents a major he has won. So I think it's like 13 stripes, and he's won 13. I think I'm speaking truth there. Um,
Nice.
but I thought that was a cool subtle flex from the goat. But
Oh. Stripes and the
yeah,
tiger. Okay.
yeah,
Well, let me see what they have since they
yeah,
don't launch till May 1st.
yeah.
Oh. Well, there looks like to be a leak of a polo. So I do believe there's going to
Oh yeah, I
be
see collars here.
some collars.
I'd be
That's
shocked
cool.
if he removed all collars. I mean, that would be. There's a lot of gentlemen that would definitely not buy it if it didn't have a
Well, yeah,
collars.
they can't wear it to work.
Exactly my point.
Dude, these polos are about to be like $100 easy.
Oh yeah, and that's right.
Easily.
Suckered into it so fast. I don't care.
Jared, what is that in euros? What's 100 in euros? Like 130 or something?
$100 in euros is gonna be like 91 euros or something like that.
Oh yeah, it goes the other way.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh yeah,
yeah. It's easier to say
Yeah,
like
my bad.
100 euros is $110. It's like 1 to 1.1. That's your financial forex exchange tip of the week.
Love
yeah.
that.
Now, other news, real quick, kind of around that similar topic of mainly just Tiger Woods. But did y'all see that his son Charlie made a stab at one of the only like PGA events that you can do as an amateur and try to get in?
Hmm.
Um, the man shot. Sorry, he's only 15, but he shot a 86 on Thursday, and so he will not be making the cut. And so we may not have a second goat on the way, but we'll see. We'll
Dude,
see how it
he
pans.
grew so fast.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. I've seen pictures of him. I was like, wait a minute, you were
I was like,
just like
that's not his
this
kid.
big. Yeah. That's not him. But anyway, so that's all I wanted to bring up was that the Tiger Woods brand and just kind of how silly it looks a little bit, but and also the name. But yeah, so that's it for me. But boys, there's one big topic. It's the topic of the week, and it's gonna be the topic of the summer because boy howdy am I gonna be. It's gonna consume my life. Um, EA College Football 2025.
Let's go.
Woo!
We've been waiting a decade for this, decade plus. This could be the reason that I actually have to break down and buy a PlayStation.
Oh snap, dude. Let's go.
This could be. Will, give us a rundown. What's the significance of this? What is it? What are we talking about?
Yeah, so it like you just mentioned, it's been a decade since we've had a college football NCAA game. They stopped making them due to players' rights, images, and likeness, which I think was fair. It was sad for the consumer, but it made sense for the athletes. But now with the evolution of NIL, that has come back into the arena, and so we finally have our beloved game back to us so we can play. Um, the significance
Mm.
also about this game specifically is that they have continued to make obviously NFL Madden games, but they just don't, in my opinion, live up to the same caliber of NCAA and
Hmm.
that experience. So um, it's gonna be crazy. I think it's gonna be a lot of fun and it's gonna be just super exciting. But yeah, that's the main significance I would say.
Peyton, what you got?
Yeah, this is a great, great time for us. Great great day to be talking about this. I mean, me personally, I didn't really play Madden that much. It was always NCAA college football. And then I had to, I mean, I would play Madden every once in a while, but I really got into Madden once I couldn't play college football anymore. So, this is huge. And, the amount, like all the different generations that they're about to bring together with this game, because you're going to have all the
Mm,
young kids playing it, because it's another video game. And then, all the people in their 20s are going to play it because they're might remember like the last couple games, and
yep.
then like 30 people in their 30s are going to remember all of them, and then it could go all the way up into 40s because let's say they were in college or whatever when the first couple of games came out, so they're going to know it. So then let's say my kid's like 15 years old and he's got an Xbox. I'm going to go buy that game and say, listen here, watch how it's done, and put it on there, and relive the glory days. So, I mean, the amount of money they're going to make off of this alone is just ridiculous. And yeah,
Absolutely.
I could easily see it being the game of the year
Oh
just
yeah.
from
100%.
all the people getting on there. And I'm
I
sure it's going to have huge problems online because everybody's going to be playing this game. It's going to be like, when there's a highly anticipated Call of Duty game coming out or whatever.
Hmm.
I mean, it's going to be bonkers.
Yeah.
right.
And then Will kind of touched on it. The significance of this game really lies in the fact that players ended up coming to a head where there was an issue that NCAA 14, all the games before, were blatantly using their image and likeness in the game.
Hmm.
If you go to the game, nobody had last names, but they would model the players of each team 100% at
Yeah.
Yeah.
what their players were, including
Their
numbers,
gear, face
all
mask. Yeah.
everything. I mean, like you go to your favorite football team, whatever it was, and it's that team of that year just blatantly ripped off. So
Right.
this game has been basically teased and hinted at that could be a possibility again ever since an NIL deal was ever struck and college players
Hmm.
are allowed to be paid, which I don't know off the top of my head. How many years are we into that now? Is it 4 at least?
I think this is the fourth year. Yeah.
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 So we're 4 years deep in that, and since then, I'm pretty sure that could have been the moment that EA started working on it because it's been coming out how much work has been in the background to make this game happen.
Oh yeah.
And
Yeah.
I believe the college game day crew, the usual guys that do commentary, have been doing voice recordings to set up for this game for 2 years
Oh.
now. I don't know if you saw any of those clips, but
We're gonna
the,
get wild Pat McAfee on the video game.
I don't think I know. I don't know if
I
Pat
hope so.
McAfee's in the game. I haven't seen anything from Pat, but it's like Kirk Herbstreit and
Yeah.
those guys. So it's gonna be the classics, and they have to do everything from like, and Texas A&M is punting on second down or doing a 72-yard field goal, something like
Yeah.
that. So, but yeah, I'm with y'all. NCAA football has a soft spot in my heart. I don't know what it is, but it's just in my bones that college football
Hmm.
is superior to NFL. I
Yeah.
also do like I'll forever hold that the last NCAA game, Texas A&M is ranked fourth.
Yes. Yes. I
We're
was just
so
about to
good in
bring.
that game. We're so good. And I actually like forever for some reason had the demo on my PlayStation back in the day, and the demo was Texas A&M versus Oregon, and I would play that game over and over and over again because I didn't need to pick anybody else, and so I just play A&M v Oregon all day.
Dude,
Nice.
and Johnny Manziel is his last year in
Hmm.
the, and so he was in it, and he was amazing.
Hmm.
So you literally could
It's like
pick Ball
Michael
the whole
Vick
time.
back in the old Madden games.
Hmm.
Yes, just like you could run and throw it, didn't matter. You
Hmm.
were, it was awesome. So going back to what you're saying, Johnny Manziel, it was an exact replica of him. So
Yeah.
kind of like what you're, but yeah.
But it's gonna be good to see how it plays out. But something I like to bring up is what we've been mentioning: the name, image, and likeness of players. That is fully a part of this game to the point that
Hmm.
EA Sports has offered every player in the FBS, I believe, the
Hmm.
opportunity to be in the game, and it comes with if you sign your name that you want to be in the game, you get $600 and you get a copy of the game. What do y'all think about that?
I think it's fine because number one, this game's not going to happen if they got to shell out $100 million for all these athletes.
Hmm.
I
Right.
mean, you know how many like endorsement deals they're probably going to get after the game. So it's kind of like, here's your cash. here's a free coffee because we know you're gonna play. Let's move on down the street. So I don't. I mean, they're already getting so much money, and like $600, like to like one of these backups on a little school, it's gonna be a lot of money for them, even though they're still getting a little bit of NIL. So I don't really have a problem with it. They don't need to get rich off this video game. That'll come after. But
Yeah, I would say it's kind of like, hey, you get to be on this another platform for you to have your name and image, and like just so you can showcase yourself, and you'll have that brand awareness or whatever. So I think the $600 is just more like, hey, we're giving you a little bit, but really this is so you can just be a part of the game. And but I hear you, they're not going to shell out crazy amounts of money. It just would never happen. So
No, and I
mhm.
think the scale of it really needs to be looked at. Like I agree. I think this is one of those things you just got to be a blanket fair payment to all. Like EA can't every year go negotiate the pay for yes the random player on the small school that's last in their Mountain West division
Yeah,
versus the star quarterback of University of Southern California, right? But
yeah,
a quick maths I just did. There's like 134 FBS teams, about 120 players on each FBS team, and then you multiply all that out by $600 per player. You're looking at almost $10 million EA is going to shell out just to put players in the game.
yeah.
sheesh. Um, yeah, yeah, that's plenty of money.
Yeah.
So
They'll sell 10 million copies.
Plus,
yeah,
I mean, a copy of the game, that's what, $70 nowadays?
Yeah.
at least, yeah,
Unless they
absolutely.
have like a Heisman edition or something for
Mm-hmm.
the deluxe where they can charge 100. I'm sure there will
Mm-hmm.
be something like that.
I hope they do so they can put Johnny Manziel in it. No, but
Calm down, Will.
Bring Johnny
the
back.
Yes, do it. No, no, I'm excited. I don't know if y'all have seen the teaser for it as well that they released a couple weeks ago, but it had the renderings of the A&M jersey on there.
Mm,
That was pretty exciting, but also just the whole teaser itself was pretty cool. They addressed a lot of the rumors and all that stuff, so it's pretty
yeah.
cool.
Well,
Um,
I'm just excited because we're getting like it was one of the best like dynasty modes, franchise modes, whatever you want to call it, in all the
exactly.
sports games. And the amount of that the technology has progressed since then, like as long as it just keeps like the same detail and the you know customization that you can do, it's going to be phenomenal. And the jerseys are so cool now. I mean, it's so cool making it like will like a creative player at quarterback at Little Idaho and take them to a national championship. Like it's so dumb. Like that's how cool it is. You can just pick a new team every day of the week, and you can go on
Mm-hmm.
for 2 years before you repeat a team.
Yeah.
Crazy.
So one thing I'll say real quick, and the one of the things that they're saying that they're not going to allow, which I don't know how they're going to police this, and I think they said they're not going to even tell people, but you can't, like, if a player doesn't opt in, you can't create them and add them to the game, which I don't know how you police that, but that's apparently going to
Yeah.
happen. So
They 100%.
um
They just have the rosters, and then they're gonna code in the names of players that opt out as like non-computable, right?
so like, for example,
Yeah.
like Wigman, like you can't have Wigman and Connor in the same,
but like
whatever.
my thought on that is like so say Connor Wigman, Texas A&M quarterback opts out for some ridiculous reason, which like to be honest, like just to say I don't see any advantage for players opting out. Like I don't see one, right?
No.
So say Wigman opts out, just spell his name wrong, right? His real name is like Weig, right? Just spell like Wig. Would that get by? Or this is somebody so intent on blocking these players that they're like 50 different spellings that could be close enough and just
Right,
not
yeah,
gonna work.
that's true. I have no
I,
idea.
I think they'll just have like I'm sure they have some kind of way to do like a configurator where they can do like a random avatar, and they'll just do that for players that don't opt in. Kind of like, what they do for like Bill Belichick because he wouldn't, be on Madden. So they would just make a random avatar. And I'm
Yeah.
sure that's what they're going to do for all the coaches because the
Yep.
coaches aren't going to be in the game.
Hmm.
So,
That's another thing. Yeah, no
Well,
coaches. But one thing that
oh,
is in the game that I've seen a lot of people get excited about, and if this was a part of the older game, I don't remember it, but conference realignment.
I
So
don't
oh,
remember.
I don't
I think
think
you could manually do it, but it was not like
but it
in
wasn't like
your
fun, right? And
right.
I think
Yeah,
people
yeah.
are into it now because of these, I mean, low key super conferences forming. And I've seen a lot of like tweets of people who want to bring back like the glory days of the Southwestern Conference
Oh Lord.
Oh,
and to set that up in their EA 25 when they get that. So,
A&M Texas would whoop
Hell
that.
yeah, brother.
yeah. So, I mean, it's
Uh,
basically like the SEC teams that are from Texas, right?
in
Oklahoma.
Oklahoma.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
Oklahoma.
like half of the Big 12 or what used to be the Big 12.
It's the good
Right.
half of the Big 12 and the Texas
Yeah.
half of the SEC.
Oh,
Yeah,
gee.
Missouri was in that. I think Arkansas
Arkansas,
was
yeah, yeah.
too.
It was a good conference,
Yeah.
Yeah.
good conference. But
Yeah.
man, either way,
Nebraska?
I'm excited for this game. Like I said, it might be the thing that kicks me over the edge to get a PlayStation here, but we'll see. I might have to just find somebody that has one and play it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So,
Well,
so,
I'll definitely be playing it. That's for sure.
so
So,
funny story. Shout out to Kaysen. Y'all know Kaysen. He has an old Xbox 360 with the NCAA Football 14. That's the only thing he has the Xbox 360 for. And
wow.
so there's like these, hardcore guys that still play it online and stuff like that. And they'll make like the current rosters for that year every year. So he's got a file for like Kyler Murray at Oklahoma and
Mm.
like Trevor Knight at A&M
Mm.
and, Patrick Mahomes at Tech, like all these files built up. So, I'm interested to see how all those hardcore guys that are still playing on the old 360 transition over.
I would say I'm sure they'll exist in their purest world where they find NCAA 14, the PS Resistance, and they won't go to the new stuff. They're gonna stick in their old ways.
Yeah.
True. That's so true. Well, and they kind of do that even in Madden right now, like with drafting. You can they'll
Yeah.
like the whole draft class of this year or something like that. So I'm sure we'll see, yeah, tons of that stuff. So that'll be exciting as well. I'm just so curious to see what the recruiting aspect is going to be like. I mean, it's so
Oh
different,
yeah.
So I'll be very curious to see how they try to make that into a game mode.
Hmm.
But yeah, I think it's exciting. So
So y'all played FIFA, right? Like within the past 5 games.
yeah,
So
I've
I
no,
wonder if
no, I have
Jared, you
not.
haven't. All right, Will has. So I
yeah.
wonder, Will, if it's gonna be like as intuitive as FIFA's gotten, as far as like the when they go in there and negotiate wagers and transfers. You know how you like they go in
Um,
there and it's interactive and stuff. I wonder if that's what it's gonna be like recruiting. Like obviously they can't do it for all the recruits, but like you're like the top 10 guys in the country. Like go to their house and you're negotiating like
oh,
what you
yeah,
can. I don't know. I wonder how like in the weeds they're gonna get.
Hmm.
yeah. I didn't think about that, but that's a great idea. I think that would be really cool if they did that. I agree. Yeah, it's going to be really interesting because there's like in real life, teams are recruiting like hundreds of players. I mean, at a time. So like, it's the scale is ginormous. But so
Hmm.
I'll be curious to see how they try to represent that. But anyway, so I think it's gonna be super fun. I think the official release date is not out, but the rumor is July. So we'll see on that one. But
Cool.
all right, boys. So I think it's about time for us to wrap it up. But do y'all have anything else for this week? Anybody?
We wrapped up Formula One testing preseason, whatever you want to call it.
Ah,
Um, quick thoughts. It's so hard to tell, like besides Red Bull, how much people have progressed in testing because you don't know their fuel loads and everything and their engine modes. But just kind of like guessing, it kind of looks like to me, obviously Red Bull way out in front, telling
yep.
Mercedes engineers they don't know what they're doing by doing their old concepts. Anyways, and then it looks like maybe Ferrari's like behind them, and then it feels like there might be another little gap with like Mercedes, McLaren, and Aston Martin, and then
Yep.
the rest of the field, and then Haas.
Oh
But
no.
we'll see this week. But that's kind of what it looks like. But you never know.
Yeah, yeah, I'm with you, Peyton. Preseason testing is over, and we got Bahrain this upcoming weekend. For our listeners, it's a Saturday race. Do not forget that. but it definitely seems like Red Bull is coming out strong. It's a little bit sad to see, even with a new concept, which is basically an old Mercedes. They're still dominating. My takeaways were Mercedes seemed really happy with what they got out of testing. They had a car that was predictable, and that's something they haven't had in the past couple years. So they don't seem like they think they're the fastest, but at least having a car that's
Yeah.
predictable is going to help them.
Yeah.
McLaren wasn't as exciting as I think their hype made them out they should be, and that could just be
Yeah.
testing, right? You know, you don't always go for the glory in testing, but they have the absolute most hype I think of any team going into the season about being able to take it to
Mhm.
Red Bull, and they kind of fell flat in just like their testing. Again, it's testing, so times don't matter. But
Yeah.
day 2 and day 3, I believe it was, with Ferrari topping the times. We'll have to see how
Didn't really
competitive they
mean much.
are. We know that Ferrari's quick in a single lap. Will they be quick in a race, though? We're going to have to wait to Saturday to see it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I will say Bahrain is not necessarily the best like judge of racing speed, all that stuff. So I have a feeling Bahrain will be what it is, and
Mhm.
probably be Red Bull out front, right? But we'll really find out after a couple more races of where everybody stacks up, which is should be fun. So
And some
yeah.
teams were already talking about like bringing like minor upgrades next week. So besides Red Bull, it could be a total
Yeah.
crapshoot.
We really will not know, I mean, until after this weekend. And will, like you said, like Bahrain still is not going to be the telltale of the season. So
Mhm.
I think I still have hope that it's not going to be a washout, but you never know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's also like a test, like who can make it a full. How many laps is it? 71 usually, 72. Like who can go the full distance without blowing up? So we'll see what
Which
happens.
happens a lot.
Yeah, uh, going back, what was that, 2 years ago with Leclerc and Verstappen? He didn't make it. So, but yeah, that's exciting. Exciting for that. Speaking of, I will not be able to watch the first race.
Well,
Yeah,
Oh, we're
I'll
going to
be.
lose you again, right? What are you doing, Will?
oh
Yes.
yeah, that's right.
So this boy right here will be getting married, and then
Let's
on the
go. Let's
Woo!
go. Congrats to
yeah,
William. We'll
thank you,
let you have a
thank
pass this time. You still owe us payback for your PTO you took last week, but you can have the day off
Yeah.
next week.
you. He said PTO.
Yeah, we'll
Yeah.
let it slide.
Where's my paycheck for that then? No,
Coming soon.
Whoa,
Advertisers,
whoa,
please
whoa, whoa,
sponsor
whoa,
us.
whoa.
no,
Yeah.
no. That was an unfortunate circumstance with what was going on, but the plan is not to miss anymore. So other
Yeah,
than this upcoming couple, so but yeah, so I think is that everything?
that's
Everybody,
it. That's it.
Yeah.
Really, my final thoughts here are we still have not come together and discussed an outro. So
do that.
let's see how this goes. Who wants it?
Yeah.
Peyton, you did a beautiful rendition of Will last week. Will, you're here now. But I think it's time to wrap. Barrel Banter
Yes.
is back with the three boys. We'll miss you next week, Will, but have fun getting married. Enjoy your honeymoon. Loved having a
Appreciate.
chat in some bourbon with y'all boys. Till next time. Cheers.
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 You've just listened to an episode of Barrel Banter Podcast. Subscribe to the show so you'll be notified every time a new episode drops. Support the show by giving us a 5-star rating and sharing with your friends. Follow us on social media at Barrel Banter Podcast.